Kyle here from allmediareviews.blogspot.com. A couple announcements, a record to show, and then I think I'll do a review on Cobra Kai Season 4. So let's get this stuff out of the way first. So I finally got the Deer Hunters in the Indigo Child, what is in effect a soundtrack. And I really consider this because how, limited or, abbreviated the amount of music there is on this. It's really like an EP, even though it's listed as a full length. But it was on my list. It was on the slideshow I posted for the EPs. I think the Indigo Child, the actual track. Yeah, that's really the only kind of proper full band track on here. The rest is sort of just soundtrack from the short film. But of course, this is sort of a precursor, or the first part of what's going to be a whole new world for the Deer Hunter to write music in. Let me show the record. There were a couple different versions, but it's a purple, or it's indigo in effect. Yeah, just like the Indigo EP and the color spectrum. So yeah, and I did the Kevin Gilbert series. I started last week, and I'm going to continue to do that. I do want to go back to the Deer Hunter, but I decided to take a left turn, and then hopefully I can come back and complete the Deer Hunter later, and then go on to some other stuff, potential series. But yeah, the other thing is I got the version with the book, which I honestly just opened and didn't even page through, but it's a lot of stuff from the film, the short film, images, the whole world of the Indigo Child. To say there's a Star Wars influence to this, and some other things like the Matrix or Terminator or technology, Westworld, or it's probably some of that, especially Star Wars. But this is the Cycle 8 prologue book, so yeah, it's neat. So the other announcement or whatever, just to update, the albums of the 2022 anticipation. I made a video. I'm probably gonna make another one because I didn't include everything in there. And then I've prepared a slideshow. I'm still working on that, so that's coming relatively soon. A lot of stuff is popping up, and I'm learning about new, and especially this week, the first week of the year. Today's January 3rd. This is when a lot of the bands, if they're ready to announce something, they often do this first week of the year, very early in the year. They want to get through the holidays. Now we're through the holidays, and so the other thing is I wanted to talk about. I did binge. I'm gonna keep watching The Expanse, but I did binge Cobra Kai Season 4. It's like comfort food, Cobra Kai. It still is. After watching the first 3 seasons a few months ago and really enjoying them, I didn't even show this stuff. I got this Indigo shirt, by the way, of the Deer Hunter. But I got the Cobra Kai shirt here. I should have been wearing this, I suppose. Maybe in another video. Maybe when I do my review of The Expanse or something. But yeah, I think I showed this in another video. I think I'm of the feeling of a lot of people where I think they're not running out of gas, but there's only so much of the sort of back and forth, this character's good, bad, they're going to be able to do. They're introducing some new characters. They're bringing back Chosen, of course, that's a spoiler. They're going to probably bring him back. Spoiler alert, I'll have to put that down. But as far as what they did in Season 4, I like the pop culture reference. There's some music references they hadn't done. There was one episode specifically. I almost, it was kind of predicting that the winners of the All Valley tournament ended up being what they were. The teenagers sort of, the love triangle kind of stuff and the rivalries. It's starting to kind of go down. I mean, what they're doing with his youngest son, Anthony, might have some potential, although it seems like it's kind of a repeat in some ways of the original first season story with Miguel and his bully. But the thing I don't understand, though, is that, why does his son, Anthony, allow his friends to sort of basically bully him, in effect? They didn't really get into that. I mean, I would have thought he would have tried to explain that to Daniel, but it never happened. But and everything with Kreese, and then with, of course, Terry Silver, Thomas Ian Griffith, his role was pretty significant in Season 4. I mean, his character proved to be pretty dark, super dark, as I was saying, darker than probably any character on the show, and darker than I really anticipated. On the surface, seeing his background, I need to go back. I don't know if I've ever actually seen Karate Kid 3 because I saw the first two. Have memories of those two. I never even saw the Hilary Swank one, the next Karate Kid, which that's the other thing is there's still some talk that she could show up, and I mentioned in my review a few months ago, how does she show up? She's not probably going to be Tori's mother, but she could be related in some way to Tori. I don't know. But, I like Terry Silver's character in that he was proving to be darker. They're making Kreese, not as dark as, pretty much the season 2 and 3, I think they didn't have, Kreese wasn't in the first season, but he was clearly the darkest, or clearly the one you were most looking as the villain. And a lot of season 4 he still was, but I think he was kind of feeling like the absence of Johnny in Cobra Kai and seeing what Johnny was doing, he was kind of feeling jealousy, or just like he wishes he could still have that because Johnny was helping him out a bit, even though they were still at odds even in that process, but. I mean, there's going to do more with what happens to his character, but I don't know. I don't know how far they're going to take Terry Silver's character, and what is his. They had his like wife or girlfriend, or whoever, that woman that you see in the first few episodes with him, and she kind of doesn't show up the rest of the season, and he's just doing that. And maybe they'll bring her in, but I mean, they did enough. It was enjoyable. It's still enjoyable. It was, there was enough funny moments on it to enjoy. I just think it's a little bit like a TV series like Big Bang or Psych, even to a point where the show is good, but it's kind of, before they're trying to avoid repeating themselves, kind of like my love for Three's Company. They were talking about they ended Three's Company when they've started to write some similar plots. I don't know, if they bring on Hilary Swank and they start to open up some of the plots, it still may have some legs. But I don't know. I think at some point you could end up having like Miguel, Samantha, Robbie, and Tori all being sort of at least not fighting anymore. But is that going to lend to really much of a plot? Where's the conflict? Where's the sort of story? I don't know. Are they going to end up being friends in the end? It's like Clark Kent and Lex Luthor being friends. The fact that Daniel and Johnny Lawrence are sort of, they're not like besties, but they're definitely, closer to friends than enemies at this point. And that the whole thing with Miguel bonding with Daniel and Samantha, to an extent, bonding with Johnny Lawrence. But the other thing, obviously, the way it ends with Miguel's character, I'm not surprised they didn't have him win. The result in the tournament with him, and then, he was meant to do more than just compete in karate or in an organized thing or in these rivals. I think he was meant to more use it to sort of do things in the world. I bet you. And so now he's trying to figure out the whole thing with Johnny Lawrence and Miguel, the father figure part, and now Robbie coming in. See, I could easily see the two of them bonding. Tori and Samantha could be a little more difficult, but I could easily see maybe it ends up being Hilary Swank's character Julie that ends up allowing Samantha and Tori to bond in some way. I don't know if they bring her in, but what they're going to potentially do with him trying to find his father in Mexico, what they're showing, they've already been shooting season 5, so season 5 will probably be about a year from now. So I don't know. I don't know if season 5 will be the last, but if it is, I think in a lot of ways it will be good. But the thing is, the way the Hollywood sort of machine works, if it's making money, but then you might have cast members leave. They did bring back, I can't remember her name again, the character from the first 2 seasons in one episode. I wish they would bring her back. The Samantha's friend who was actually in Cobra Kai. I can't remember her name. But anyway, that's kind of my take on Cobra Kai that I've seen it. I mean, I might get my wife to start watching it, even though it's not typically her kind of thing. But the 80s nostalgia, some of the light humor. I don't know. She might give it a shot, even though I don't think she's ever even seen the Karate Kid movies. That's what I actually should probably do. Is I'll maybe put the T-shirt on for that, and I'm gonna go back and try to watch some of those Karate Kid movies because I've heard a lot of people that watch Cobra Kai have gone back and watched them or watched them for the first time, which I have yet to do. I mean, not the Jaden Smith one. I don't think I would just literally watch the first 4, I guess it is, or at least the first 3, Ralph Macchio, and then the one with Hilary Swank. So. But yeah, what's your take on season 4 of Cobra Kai? You know, is it you have the same feeling? Do you think some people think it was the best season? I mean, you know, some of the comments were how like the characters, the younger characters, the children were sort of taking charge of their own sort of destiny as opposed to trying to live through their parents' dream or unfulfilled, you know, own lives or whatever. That whole classic thing about the parent trying to live their dreams through their kids. I just think in some sense, Samantha, Miguel, even Robbie to an extent, I think the 4 of them are not going to make karate sort of their life. It's sort of going to be, they're going to use it sort of in a peripheral way, sort of like a supplementary way, where they're going to use it, they're going to get through life, and they're not going to be competing in karate regularly. They're just sort of like trained, but they'll try to avoid the whole conflict eventually. If they're learning something from their parents and they're learning how to grow up, that's kind of the lesson is that, you know, the best fight is to not actually fight. The best way to win the fight is to not fight at all. But, you know, I know that's, of course, counter to sort of Johnny Lawrence and the whole Cobra Kai strike first, you know, mentality. But that's, if you're having younger kids watch this show, that's one sort of thing they could take from it. But they're not going to completely dismiss it, just sort of keep it as sort of a thing just for emergencies. So anyway, that's my take on Cobra Kai. Like I said, I'm going to start watching The Expanse, I think, and I just found out Westworld season 4 it is, I guess, is coming out later this year on HBO Max. I haven't watched the Harry Potter special that aired over the weekend. I watched like the first 15 minutes, but maybe I'll do a video on that. I am a Harry Potter fan, but I used to be a bigger fan than I used to be. But that's coming up, and Call Me Kat. Some of the networks have some shows, and they're coming up. But, you know, as a whole, there's this other TV that I still haven't explored. But The Expanse is my plan, at least, to sort of try to focus on when I have time. I'm dealing with some other stuff right now with, unfortunately, mail issues, and we have a mouse in this house now, unfortunately, at least one, so they're kind of compromising some of my time. But anyway, that's enough for now. Like I said, I got the 2022 albums preview, anticipation, and a lot of other stuff in the channel, like the series of Kevin Gilbert and the Deer Hunter plans. So, but what are your plans for 2022? Happy New Year. You know, hopefully we can weather the COVID storm of Omicron, and we could be sitting here, staying here 6 months from now thinking it's finally getting back to normal. But, you know, who knows. But thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.